everyone. Welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook, once again on BB3 TV. Hope you all had a great holiday, good Christmas, and y'all are ready for a new year because we're ready to go. For those who are new, quick rundown. This show is designed for helping people who are just learning about their abilities, their psychic abilities, think they might have them but aren't too sure, just want to kick back and listen to story time with us, whatever else. Just a very informal, laid-back show that you're allowed to ask questions on. In fact, it's encouraged to ask questions on. And when you guys are typing in the comments, I'll be more than happy to read them out to our guests. Tonight, I have the very special, wonderful Taryn Kerper coming onto my show. Hi, Taryn.
Hi. What an introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if anyone read through the posts that I put on beforehand, they know everything that they need to know about you in a large package as far as what you do, and as far as what other shows you're on, what other runs you have, and how I feel about you. That's the most important. So,
absolutely,
really.
And you know, I love you too. So the feelings are mutual.
Yeah, much love. Yep. Oh, look, you're already getting love. There's my wife popping in and saying hi to you.
Hi, Nicole. I love her. Oh my gosh, she's so adorable.
Yeah, she'll pop in every once in a while, so people will see her on camera. I'm actually going to have her on an upcoming show later at the end of the month, because I'm actually going to have my entire paranormal team, my Dimensional Encounters paranormal team. In fact, there's us right there, out on Facebook, and they're all going to be on here together as one big group talking about our stuff. So, but anyways, that's another day. Right now, I want to talk about you. How was your holidays, and how was your New Year's?
Oh, all right. Well, I'll try to keep it as short as possible because you know me, I like to talk.
Hey, see the time? I don't care what time it is, so you talk as much as you want.
So Christmas was nice. However, Christmas Eve. No, was it Christmas Eve? Oh no, it was the day. What was Monday? Was that the day after or 2 days after Christmas?
That was 2 days after Christmas. Christmas was on a Saturday.
So my boyfriend was COVID positive. So naturally, I didn't get tested, but I'm just going to assume that I had. We did have plans to go to Gettysburg for New Year's Eve, like I always go every year for like the last 10 years. That's where I celebrate New Year's Eve.
Yep.
We had to cancel because we were staying in an inn at Lincoln Square. I stay at every year. I'm very good friends with the owners, and I've managed to get like some of my best friends to also stay there as well. So we kind of rent out the entire place.
Okay.
All the rooms are filled. And one of my best friends, Megan, she has an 11-month-old at home. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to chance anything with anybody. Everybody's going to be there.
Yeah.
So
look at you being all responsible and everything. Jeez.
I know. And really, honestly, Karen, I was like so dying. I'm like, I needed to go to Gettysburg so bad. And it just didn't happen. Christmas week, I was a part of a search and rescue for a Yorkie that was roaming my brother's neighborhood since Christmas Eve night. So for 6 days, I have been looking for a dog that I don't know.
Still haven't found it yet?
We did this morning.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
No chip.
I just want to know, you did the search and rescue. Did you put on the backpack and the little light?
Oh, I was like on it.
The streets and everything else. And
I was on it.
Okay.
I was on it.
I wonder if you're grappling up and down sides of houses with the grappling hooks and the rope.
Oh, for sure. For a dog. Yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah.
So it was a very stressful. So, but all in all, it was nice. It was good to be with family.
Yeah. Well, we have other couple people popping in to say hi. Hi, Mama. This is kind of I've adopted her as my second mom.
Did you see up there, Dana? That's one of my peaches.
This is Dom. Where at? Oh,
up above,
Dana, right there.
Yeah, that's one of my peaches.
Hi, Dana. And then we also got Miss Patricia McDowell checking in.
Hello.
Hi, Patricia. I'm actually going to have her on my show later on.
Awesome.
One of our newcomers to the BB3 family, Sean Babbitt. He's going to be on here. Tammy's saying hi. Tammy's from another paranormal team or another paranormal page I'm linked to. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for sharing.
Hi,
And
Tammy.
then the second best Tom, even though he's OG Tom, second best Tom.
I
I'm
love
the
Tom. Yes, I love Tom.
and then
And Dom.
the other problem child in our group, Dom. So
Yeah.
Tom, thanks for sharing it out. Appreciate it. Much love. So I do want to ask you. Oh, we even got a little Gem popping in from down in Australia. Hi, Gem. How are you?
Oh, hi, I love it.
She's Gem actually is part of an investigation team called Hectic Paranormal, and she's actually going to be on my show as well.
Awesome.
So
I'll watch that. I want to hear her accent.
Oh, it's outstanding. I love the accent. So it's funny because when she texts, she does voice texting. So I get to hear her accent when she talks to me, and I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I bet.
So, but yeah, so we're gonna be those are some people that are gonna be on the show later. So you are on Paranormal Brew. You also do investigations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start you off with. So people that don't know this, I've already been on Taryn's show. I was an emergency guest because one of them bailed on her, and so this is not a favor she's turning around to doing for me. This is just simply because we meshed so well together, and we've become such good friends that we're just probably going to be regulars on each other's show.
Well, yeah, you're going to be on my show.
Right. I'm actually back on her show February 16th. So at the end of the show, I'll post up where to find her at and all of her stuff so you guys can see it all. Make sure you write it all down or a copy and paste. You can check out her shows as well because they're really good. She has really good guests on there as well. But what I want to know is when you have done investigations, what do you use? What kind of equipment do you guys use when you go on investigations?
So this isn't probably what anybody wants to hear on either side, whether you're a skeptic or you're a paranormal investigator or whatever. Neither side probably wants to hear, but I honestly use just a recorder. Maybe video. If anything's happening, I might turn my video on. I have a full spectrum video, but for the most part, I'm not a big fan of anything that makes noise because I'm clairaudient, so I can hear responses. Not all the time, not 100% of the time, but most of the time. So that's the only reason I'm not big on those things. But as far as any paranormal equipment goes, I'm mostly my recorders.
Okay. And I've heard both sides. I've heard people who are techno junkies, and everything they do is through techno, and then there's those that are just like you. They're just recorders, and they just want to catch voices because they think sometimes the spirit box with the scanning of the frequencies can be modified, or that things they're hearing may not be really what they're hearing, and they're just hoping that what they're hearing is what they're hearing, type of thing. It's not really clean like just a regular audio recorder because it has all the static in between it. I gotta say hi, Zhang. So
hi, Zhang.
Thanks
I love her. She is so awesome. Indonesia. I always ask her, what time is it there?
Oh yeah, I'll have her type that up here. So Zhang, what time is it over where you're at right now? I'm too lazy to type it in and actually use a Google search. So
I always ask her. I mean, for me, like I go in there and when I'm during an investigation, if it's a private house investigation, it's different than how I would handle if we did an event and held like a fundraiser. I have, girl, I love you. She's just so awesome. I have equipment. I've spent thousands of dollars on equipment when I first started out, and some of it's broken. It wasn't very good, but so I have that stuff. If I'm doing a fundraiser, I'll bring it for like the public that paid to play with, you know what I mean? Because they think all that stuff is cool, and it kind of just help, whatever. But a private investigation, I'm there to try to find out what's going on for me. I mean, the last 5 private cases that have come my way, we haven't had to do an investigation. We were able to help the family and figure out what was going on, just through, working with them and helping them set boundaries, and and two of those cases had children involved.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud about that part of it. But if I do a private investigation, it's recorders, and if I hear something, I'm going at it to try to figure out what it is,
Yep.
all that stuff.
Yep. So just a quick notice to you from Tom. He says Taryn's background kind of reminds me of the first season of Stranger Things with the lights.
I never saw that show.
Oh, that's a good show. If you get the chance, you should watch that. That's actually a really good one.
Yeah, I never saw that show.
Yeah. So that's good because, yeah, like I said, our team uses, like I said, I'm part of a team called Paranormal Encounters Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. Wow, dyslexia sitting hard on that one. Entire words backwards. But we have still cameras set up throughout the night.
Yeah.
We use audio recorders. We use the SLS cameras. We use the Ovilus. So we have all the equipment too. But sometimes we only take a couple of things. So it depends on where we're at or what the room is like, or what the feeling is like on what we take. We don't always have everything all the time.
Right.
We have them available to us if we want them. We're actually looking at, through Bill Slevin, we're actually looking at hopefully talking to him. I want to talk to him and see if our team can get signed up onto his network to where if people need help, they can just reach out to a team in their local area and they'll come over and help them for free to try to figure out what's in the house, if it's dangerous, if it's not, if it needs to be cleared, whatever else type of thing. Bill has a site like that he has developed. And he has different teams from all over the nation. I'm not sure if it's nation or world. Unfortunately, I haven't read through the page yet, but it's teams that are basically allowed to come into his group because he wants them to be a loving team. He wants them to be nice and respectful and everything else. He doesn't want the aggressive teams and stuff like that. So he wants to be able to help the individuals, the households that are having issues, and to be able to come in and help out if they're in the local area.
Right.
My buddy Rob B3, really quick, he's actually going to be on here as part of my team talk, and plus he's going to be bringing on. He's talking about doing a show on BB3 TV, just like we do, but his may just be. He might not do a live. He's probably going to. He's a woodworker, and he does a lot of woodworking projects, and he's talking about doing a recording it all and then posting a video online.
Oh, that would be cool. I would watch that.
Yeah, definitely.
You said wood cutter or burner?
He just creates just stuff out of wood.
That's awesome. I love that. I wish I was.
He creates puzzle boxes. He creates tables. He creates chairs. Awesome. He creates all that stuff. So he's actually gonna be looking at posting videos to our BB3 TV site as well. And he's actually he's the one they call the preacher on our team because because it seems like his name gets called whenever we need prayer. And yep, that's the name of the show, Breaking Shit, Making Shit with Rob B3 on BB3 TV. So
that's awesome.
Yep. So you did mention that you have some abilities.
I mean, I don't know if that's abilities. I think I just I get
sometimes you can. Sometimes you get something, and so to me that's still an ability. So sometimes you get something.
Yeah.
When did you start realizing you may have that? Like you were like, whoa, wait.
It was late. It was probably later on. I mean, it wasn't until I started. Really, my father passed away when I was 22, and I started going to churches and trying to find what I need a direction in life. You know what I mean? Like what is happening, Yep. I was the oldest. I had 6 younger brothers, when he passed. He was only 45. So it was a huge shock to our family,
Right.
He was, it was crazy. So anyway, I stumbled across a John Edwards show. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a medium that had a show on called Crossing Over. Yep. And now, mind you, before this, I lived in a house that had stuff happening, but I was trying to ignore it. I was so afraid of it, wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing. My mom was the opposite. My mom was like, "Oh yeah, I'm all about it," and she was the one that actually got me into it, kind of, because she made me go to Gettysburg with her first, which was
You're hooked. So yeah.
I was hooked right then and there. So she's
Yeah.
kind of got me into both. Um, but anyway, so it wasn't until probably the John Edwards show, and I spoke to a couple of religious people about that because I didn't want to believe in that, and you know what I mean, have that kind of use of therapy. It was like a therapy for me if it
Right.
wasn't something that was possible.
Right.
And I talked to a couple of religious people I trusted, and I kind of just opened up to that a little bit and accepted that that's possible.
Okay.
And then after that, I started to watch Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Ghost Hunters was on, and I thought that was awesome. I love that show, and
You love
uh,
Oz. Don't lie. You love
oh, I
Oz.
totally love him. Totally, 100%. He is probably one of the most famous, or not most famous. I'm sorry, one of the nicest people that I have met that is in this field and everything. I mean, he was just amazing. He came on my show.
Yeah, I say you had him on your show, so not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's just amazing. But I do the way that they investigate and the way they handle clients to me is, how I was trained. When I was a part of a group. I was a co-director of a paranormal group in South Jersey at one point, but that was an extensive training process prior to getting into the group. It was like 3 months of training.
Ooh, yeah.
So before that, so while I was doing my training and stuff, that was still around time when Ghost Hunters was kind of big. So I would watch them, and how I was being trained is how they were investigating and handling clients. So to me, in my heart, the way they handle things is how I believe is the right way to handle things,
Right. Yeah.
So, and then when I went to Gettysburg the first time, I had an experience there, and I thought, wow, that's not that bad. So let me look into this. So everything kind of just started to happen all at once.
Right. Yeah. And I completely understand that, because I will, for people that know how mine came about, I was asked to to become part of a paranormal investigation team a year ago, with my wife, with some of our friends. Rob B3 actually invited us to come onto that and everything else, to be on the team. And we were just going simply to investigate and hang out as friends and everything else. In my past, there's stuff that's happened that should have, if I was paying attention to it, should have let me know that I have some abilities. But it really wasn't until we started going on the investigations and I started hearing, feeling, and being able to talk about things I saw and everything else that the other people I were with that had psychic abilities were like, wait, what did you just say? Because that's what I see too. So, so for me, it's really late. I mean, I'm 49 right now. So, so for me, it's really later in life that
me too.
That my recognition of this has come on. So, and this is why we decided to do this show right here, Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook, because it doesn't matter what age you are. You come in and you start understanding that you have some form of psychic ability or something to do with it, whether it's an empath or a medium or a psychic or whatever it is. But you're like, where do I start?
Yeah.
And some people are like, I don't want to talk to people about this because they'll probably think I'm nuts. So this just kind of gives a community to where other people like communities can come and talk. But I also have other people on here as well. I mean, so it just depends on who wants to talk about what questions that can be asked. So like I said, people, in fact, Patricia asked a question over here. Patricia McDowell asked, how do you tag along with the paranormal team? I have more freedom now, and I may even be able to contribute. Patricia, what I would do is tell you to whatever area you live in, see if there's teams out there that will allow people to come along with them. Just kind of like, as I know that some teams will bring people along just for the adventure, like maybe a one-time thing. They're going to be out there for a couple of hours, and you just want to experience. And so it's just kind of knowing your area, who's out there already, and if they're willing to bring people along. If not, just find a haunted area out there, or a place that you want to investigate that you've been told that may have some spirit or whatever else, and take a couple friends along. See if you feel anything. See what your I believe you already know that you have abilities. Sorry about that. I'm picking up my eyeball. But I believe that you know that you already have something, some abilities that you know, but invite others to come along with you. Maybe it's going to be the same way as it did for me, to where out of the blue, I ended up learning that I had abilities. And maybe if you bring a couple people with you just to go check out a place, just to go investigate, take a couple recorders with you, see what you can pick up on, maybe they'll figure out they have something too. And maybe you'll form a team that way,
Do you know Patricia?
I do not personally. I met her through Dom, because,
Okay.
but she is actually going to be a guest on my show.
Oh, okay.
So yes, so
Yeah, I would say if you have free time, I would say look up a couple of local groups in your area, maybe join the group.
right.
And that way, you will be a part of a group that does do investigations. So you will always have the chance to go wherever they go, so it's not like you're tagging along, but you would be a part of the group. And I'm sure, you would have other responsibilities to help out. I mean, that's what groups really, truly need. They need people that are dependable and, have the time to be able to help out with private investigations, because private investigations are a lot different than going to a location, and I'm sure a lot of the teams out there probably need help with the private stuff, because there's a lot more paperwork involved and a lot more of this and that. So they probably need help with that. You can always just ask them, or ask a local group in your area. Make sure they're a little credible. Do a little research.
Yes.
You don't want to be with a group that charges anybody anything.
Ever.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I would do that. And if you are going to take the route of just going out and doing your own thing, just obviously she knows what she's doing. I'm not telling her anything, but you got to know the people you're bringing with you too. I made the mistake one time by taking some people out. They wanted me to take them to a cemetery that I went to often, and they had friends, and the friends I did not know. And one of them, when we got to the cemetery, I found out was drunk.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
And I found that out because she was yelling profanity across the cemetery. And I was like, oh, what is going on?
Right.
And I had to stop it because it was just not happening. So
sorry, I'm laughing because of Tom's post. He goes, hinting at the group that should not be named.
Yeah, I always say, it was a part of a group I'm not going to mention. Or I got, most of my equipment I got from a store that I'm not going to mention, because the group I'm not going to mention, the director owned the store I'm not going to mention. I always say that.
Right. And I will tell you too, Patricia. Rob, his wife, me and my wife actually went down south to a location, and it's a winery, but it's also a haunted winery. But the winery itself is still open with food and everything else and stuff like that. But they also do group paranormal investigations, and you stay overnight and everything else. It costs money to go on it, but it was great. We went out as a group. We were with like 9 other people. We went out, had a great time, did some investigations, got some lights to go on and off, everything else. So, but it was a good time. It was a little rough because some of the people just talked through everything. So spirit really wasn't as active as it could have been, or they were just very disinterested. But for the most part, we got stuff that happened. So, hey, John, jerk. He posted, "Hey, Taryn and Tom S, true proof of Beauty and the Beast. I can't believe you're calling her a beast like that." We punch you right in the face for that. And then, of course, my wife likes wine, so there's.
I do too. I love wine.
Yeah, normally when we get in our little chat groups and everything else, you'll see Taryn with a little glass of wine. So that's
when I'm doing my show, I have my wine, or I have my Crown Royal, or my Bird Dog. Whiskey, but tonight I'm like, I'm just gonna drink iced tea. I'm gonna be good.
All right, so you guys have been warned enough about the parental advisory. So let me get my BB3 advertisement back up there. So, our flag waving up on the corner here.
That's
So
cute.
yeah, Tom Nally actually made that.
I don't even know how. I wouldn't even know how to put that up.
He actually made that. He actually made that.
Nope, no Jack Daniels.
Yeah, John's asking, no Jack Daniels. Nope. She leaves that to the professionals.
Bird Dog Crown Royal, and then I just discovered Appalachian Brewery in Gettysburg. They're making a bourbon now that is really good. So every time I go to Gettysburg, I get that. But yeah, I'm picky because I'm usually a Tito's girl. This whiskey thing came out of nowhere.
Well, and I will tell you, I don't drink at all. I look like this naturally. Imagine what I look like if I drank; it would be miserable. But I don't drink, but I do know a handful of people. One of them happens to be in this household who likes the salted caramel whiskey as well as peanut butter whiskey.
Oh yeah. But if you do and if you get peanut butter Bird Dog and you get chocolate Bird Dog and you put those two together, they make a Reese's Pieces.
Oh, okay.
That's what it tastes like, and it's dangerously delicious. I sound like an alcoholic.
So, how you've been going on investigations for a while then? Sorry, I'm bringing us back to the conversation. You've been on investigations for a while. Do you have one that just sticks with you as just scaring the bejesus out of you, or just something that made you go, not going back to that place? Just something that went wrong, or something that just.
No, I don't have any place where I don't think I would go back to.
Okay.
I've had some. I have to tell you, Rolling Hills Asylum. I will always bring up Rolling Hills Asylum in New York.
Okay.
Rolling Hills, and also Penhurst. Both of them, and Penhurst is right here in, I think, Spring City, PA. Most activity in one night ever, but Rolling Hills was more creepy.
Oh yeah.
It was more. I mean, I caught little kids singing "London Bridge is Falling Down."
Oh.
I felt hot breath on my face and a laughter, like a goofy laugh, and heard it with my ears. I saw literally like a movie. You're looking down the dark hallway. At the end of the dark hallway, there's hospital doors, and they got the two windows and the light behind the windows and stuff. And it was like shaded glass, but I'm looking down this hallway and I see this figure just go like this across on the other side. And I was like, oh no, because I normally don't see anything. And I was like, wow. I'm like, this place is like amazing.
Yeah.
Because I don't normally see stuff. And I mean, that night was, I've only been there once, but I want to go back so bad. I keep telling her I'm going to come back, but Rolling Hills, Penhurst, and Selma Mansion even. And
it's funny you mentioned that because up here, where was it at? Did I miss it? Oh, yep. See, even Tom Nally even mentioned Selma Mansion further up. So, yep. He threw that one out there too.
Yeah, I actually was live on Facebook the last investigation that we did there, and I had gone upstairs. It happens within the first minute and a half to 2 minutes, and we're all upstairs because they said that something was going on up there. So we all ran up there, and I'm live on Facebook, and like all of a sudden behind me, I hear this whistle. It was like, shoo, and I was like, and right away I'm like, did anybody hear that whistle?
Right.
There was 12 of us there. Only one other person heard it.
Yeah.
And then I think Dana might have been there that night. Actually, I think Dana was there that night. That it was crazy. And then only one other person heard it, and I got it on the live. Everybody heard it live. You know what I mean? And and everybody was like, nope, nobody whistled. But I knew that because the sound came from behind me,
Right. Yep.
So Selma Mansion definitely, and I heard they called out. We said to say one of our names. They said Dana once. They said we had another one of our peaches is Jocelyn, but I call her Jossie, and you actually could hear Jossie. It was crazy the whole night. It was just awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Gettysburg. I mean, I go there so much that I have so many experiences there. So
Yeah.
Gettysburg is like the best thing ever.
So I said it last time I was on your show, and I'm going to say it again. So damn it, I'm going to make this happen. Um, for work, we can actually for where I work at, we can actually get funded to go to and I'm going to do this in air quotes because I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do leadership course over there at Gettysburg. And it's like a 2 or 3 day leadership course that you go through, and they talk about the generals and what they did and everything else and stuff like that. But if I'm up there, I have to veer your way to get the actual tour of Gettysburg that I'm not going to get from this leadership course.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I mean, so I went, and then actually it was the last, it might have been the last time I was there, I don't know. So I had a friends of mine, they're from Tennessee, they're SRS Paranormal.
Yep.
They came up, we planned a trip. They wanted me to take them around Gettysburg and do all the paranormal stuff around Gettysburg, which was one of the funnest weekends, because that's all we did nonstop.
Right.
We went to so many different places, and did, we were live a lot on Facebook and stuff like that. But that time, and then in between the time before that, I found out I was a daughter of the Revolution.
Oh, nice.
Two of my like great grandfathers both, were in the Revolutionary War.
Oh.
Like the sixth and the fifth. So they both were, in the in the Revolutionary War. So, anyways, we went somewhere off the beaten path, came back, and however we came back, I look over and I see this dinky little cemetery that looked older than George Washington. It was just you could tell it was very old. And I was like, pull over. I never saw that before. Pull over, we get out. And it was actually a daughter of the Revolutionary War. It was a cemetery that yeah. Isn't that weird?
Weird, yeah.
I mean, it was just, I never even, like, I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, like, what are the odds?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
It was crazy, but Gettysburg is always amazes me that way. I've been going there, gosh, 10 times a year since 2007, at least.
Yeah.
So, and every time I go, I learn something new.
Yeah. So have you been to, I'm assuming that's a yes, but Tom Nally's saying he's going to be at the next Gettysburg bash. So I'm assuming something that you've been to as well.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Absolutely. Don't miss it.
And then, of course, someone's trying to enlighten them, put out a BB3 TV booth when they're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, talk to Pam. Pam and Steve Barry are the ones that run that. They're very good friends of mine. They also own the Haunted Hoover House in Waynesboro, PA, and which is also another great place to stay and investigate. So it's an awesome place. And but they actually do the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, and that actually all the proceeds go to wounded warriors and children with cancer. Oh. So last year they raised a little over 10,000. That was the most they've raised. So you know what I mean. And at one of them, so they're actually growing, and it's awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah,
they have food vendors. They have a water thing where where you throw the ball. I forget what the hell it's called. You dunk people, like a dunk chamber.
Oh, the dunk tank?
Yeah. And Kenny Biddle always offers to be, and sign up to dunk Kenny Biddle.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm scheduled to have him on my show too, so that'll be good too.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's good. Yeah, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Nebraska. And we have little places to go to around here and some bigger places that we drive out to because my team is scattered across. A handful of us are in Omaha, Nebraska. A couple of them are out in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And then we have another one up in Janesville, Wisconsin. But we try to plan out normally about 10 trips a year to go for investigations over a weekend. So like one a month for the most part. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting to go out and do those and to see that. But we've had a couple of cool things on ours, but really nothing that's chased me out of the place. One of the last ones, in fact, it might have been the last one that my team went on. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but something in my head said, "Yep, you will go to this one," because if they went to Edinburgh,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Yep, you need to go to this place, but this time you should not go." So I actually did not go on that investigation. There was just something, some spirit guide or something telling me you are not supposed to go on this one, and I don't know what it was, but it kept me away from it like the plague.
Yeah.
But it told me I'm supposed to go, just not at that time.
Right. Well, I think I'm like that with Hinsdale. Everybody wants me. My peaches have planned a trip to Hinsdale, and they're making me go because before this I was like, I'm not going that place
Right.
ever. Because everybody I know that's been there has never had a good experience. I'm like, why would I want to go somewhere where everybody I know doesn't have a good experience?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and
I'm not sure who our BB3 TV person is, but at the same time, I don't think you know how to run. I know how to run. My problem is I'm too dumb to run away from stuff. I normally run towards it.
He's talking to Tom Nally.
Oh yeah, that must be talking to Tom Nally. So yeah, definitely not me. Because if I run and I run towards you, I get a hold of you. You're in trouble. So, so that was another question I wanted to ask you. Is when you see stuff like you said, you saw the shadow go by the doors and stuff like that. Are you one of those that run towards it to go investigate it? Like you're just like, bam, I got to go see what that is. Or are you one of those that's like, I'll give it a couple of minutes and then I'll go check out what that was?
So when I saw the shadow, now I also, so at that time I was part of the group that I'm not going to mention. So we were doing an event at Rolling Hills.
The Voldemort group, got it.
And I, at the first, because I had like 5 people with me. Now, when you're doing something like that, you have to worry about what they're doing. You have to worry about what's happening. You know what I mean? So it's a little harder, but luckily the people I had with me were okay. But I mean, it does take a second to sink in what just occurred.
Right.
When you see something like that, because my mind, I'm a healthy skeptic. Like I'm going in there and I'm trying to find where there could be a man-made reason for whatever's happening.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going into a place looking for a ghost.
Right.
I'm going in there, be like, okay.
Outside, a car drove by that cast a shadow along the window.
Anything. I will try to. So yes, my first instinct is to go there. I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, I know what I just saw. And let me count who's with me. 6 people. Okay. I have everybody with me. So it's not somebody that's in our group.
Right.
And then I go down there.
Right.
Is my heart pounding through my chest? Absolutely. Because I've watched a lot of horror movies and I watch a lot of ID on Discovery. So my head thinks of all these scenarios like I'm going to go through here, and someone's going to jump out and kill me, whether it be a real person or it's Michael Myers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know.
Right. Am I wearing the wrong colored shirt for the Star Trek episode where I'm the first one to die? I mean, how does this work? Right. Yeah.
Am I that one that's the girl that
right? One that always falls down when she tries to run. Yeah.
But no, I went down there and there was nobody there.
Okay.
So, but I have to do that because, or else then what I know I saw. I don't care who believes me or doesn't believe me. I know I saw it.
Right.
And for me, that was validation that I actually witnessed something that I can't explain. I don't know what it was, but I can't explain it.
Yeah, I'm too dumb to know any better. I'm that one that goes, oh, look, a door. I just open it and everyone else is like, I don't think we should open that door. And I'm like, it's a door. Let's open it up. And I'm that dumb one who just, I tell people I have no fear because I'm too dumb to know any better.
I'm thankful for that. I know a couple of times, like even Eastern State, I did like a VIP tour there one time. And we walked into a room that was just newly being excavated. They had just taken out, he was telling me about so much, rubble out of this room. And there was a chair, like a surgical chair, like a chair in there with, it looked like a dental surgery type of a area.
Right.
And when we all walked in there, I was okay for about 3 seconds. And all of a sudden I just started getting this like bad feeling. And I'm normally not like that. It just, all of a sudden I just felt like I was unwanted and didn't didn't feel comfortable in there. So I had to like step out of the room, and one of the security guards. Now here's where you're like, this motherfucker's gonna think I'm crazy, right? So the security guard's like, no, you got to kind of stay with. And I said, listen, I said, I walked in there. I said, you know, you're probably gonna think I'm nuts, but I walked in there and I'm not feeling too good about
Right.
it. So I need to I'll stay right here,
Right.
but I can't be in there. And I wanted to be because I'm in there here. And then she's like, oh, this is Al Capone got surgery here. And I'm like, what?
You're like, come on, speak louder.
So, yeah. But I mean, that's only happened to me a couple of times. And even there's a cemetery that I frequent that's awesome. And not a lot of the cemeteries do have activity, but there are some.
Yeah.
And luckily, I live by the Pine Barrens. So there's a cemetery in Atzion, it's called. And for some reason, I'm drawn to that cemetery, but I always get really good EVPs from there and everything. And I have this thing when I go there, I kind of just like, I'm quiet for a little bit and kind of just whatever, and I can feel the energy there. Like, they're very protective of that land.
Yep.
So, and I, like I said, go there often. And there was one time I pulled up and he's my ex now, but we were arguing when we pulled up and we're arguing and I go to get out and I'm like, oh no. We got to leave.
Yeah.
They don't want us here right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually got that feeling, and I normally don't. I was actually scared. That time I was scared because I felt like we weren't leaving fast enough. That was like how the feeling I was getting. Like, so, and I didn't go. I've gone back since. But that's the only time that's ever happened to me there.
Right. Yeah. There's I don't know. There's times that we've had bad feelers and stuff like that, but every once in a while, maybe we'll shut, not the investigation, but the session we're doing at that time, we'll shut it down because the feelings just aren't right, but we know we'll go back into it later to talk about it or whatever else, or just regroup and decide what we want to do or if we want to take a different tactic. Because we do get the wrong feelers in there. So,
and you know what? And for me, I don't think, my instincts of not going somewhere or being in a certain place is always going to be paranormal.
Right. Right.
I mean, you gotta think it's the Pine Barrens, to me, that movie, the Wrong Turn movie, there's actually like in my head, there's actually people out there like that, and I'm like, no, so it could be whatever, but if I get that feeling, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. And Rob, this is Rob. I found out. He said, yep, step outside, ground, reattack, which is kind of how we do. Now, just know that when he says reattack for our group, we are definitely a kinder, gentler investigation team. We go in there with nothing but with love. And all we want to do is just find out the truth. We never antagonize. If anyone gets close to the antagonizing, it's me. And that's just because that's built into me. People know my background. People that know my background know that sometimes I am not the shy, quiet person I appear to be on the show. So sometimes it just comes out. But yeah, we don't provoke. We don't antagonize. We don't do any of that. We just go in as an investigation team, trying to find out if we can help more than anything. Tom's selling you out. Plus, Taryn, is the whole experience you had at Wildwood Sanitarium.
I did, yeah.
So,
it was the first time I ever did. I think he's talking about when I was doing the Estes. I always say that wrong, so I apologize. I always say it wrong. But I was doing the Estes experiment. That was like the first time I ever did it or ever even heard of it. Again, this is where I met the team from Tennessee, SRS Paranormal. They came up. And they were the ones that introduced me to it. And they're like, you want to try it? I'm like, sure. I'll try it. And I'm sure everybody knows, you put the headphones on, the blindfold on, they ask questions and stuff. And I guess they were asking me some questions and they said it was almost, now the people that I was with know me very well. And by this point, SRS kind of, knows me, but they said that they said something and I kind of like laughed, but it wasn't my laugh. And I kind of moved my arm up like this and I answered the question, but it was very, and then they started talking and I went, yap, 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 yap. Right. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it has something to do with what I don't know how it happened, but apparently it happened. They showed me the video and I was like, oh, you know, that
Yeah.
was weird. After that, we were all looking at something and we all heard a disembodied voice downstairs. We caught it on audio. So Wildwood Sanitarium in New York is awesome as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, just would say that.
So
But yeah,
Patricia does ask a question. Sometimes when I have been in a historical building or even shopping for a home, sometimes I feel like I hit a wall and cannot move forward, so I leave. Has this happened to either of you? If so, what do you do?
I leave.
Yeah.
I
Like I
do.
said, mine happened even before I got to the place. The Edinburgh, I just had that gut feeling beforehand. Nope, not going. So I didn't even attempt it. A lot of my team was encouraging to have me go, but some spirit guide or whatever it was says, not this time, mister, you're staying put. And I fought with it internally huge, even up to the day where the whole team was going, if I was just going to climb in a car later on and drive, but I stuck to my guns from what I was hearing and I didn't go. Once we get to, it's never happened to me once I got to an investigation. It has happened to, I know at least one of my teammates, to where when they got to the building, it took him a little while to, I don't want to say get the courage up, but basically convince himself to walk in and go, yep, last time this was a bad experience. I need to face that experience, so I'm going to go in now.
That I have.
Yeah. So
You
they
know,
pushed through it. They pushed through it and continued on. But if it's just that gut feeling initially when you get there, or even before you go, like, I got a bad feeling about this place, I just didn't go at all. And Taryn just says she leaves. So
I do. I trust my instincts because it could be
yeah,
anything. It could be
yeah,
anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be paranormal, you
right.
know?
It's just
Um,
something's wrong. Yep.
yeah.
So Ajang wants to tell you that you are awesome, Taryn. She says, I can see ghosts clearly since childhood, but I don't have the courage like you to do investigations and so on. I need to train myself to master it. Yep. It's baby steps, Ajang. I don't know what Taryn can tell you about that, but with me just being new at this stuff, oh my goodness, there is no way I'll ever master everything.
Nobody, I don't think anybody ever
It
will.
just for me, I went with my team, and like I said, I have some experts on my team who, when I go ahead and say something, I look to them for validation. But as I've been doing it for a year, I have learned to really trust my instincts and what I'm picking up on, and not really rely on their validation. It's cool when they validate, but I don't really need it anymore. And that's just doing it so many times from going on the investigations and trusting, or even in sometimes I just have a spirit come up and just want to start talking. And so that lets me validate as well to myself that this is what I'm hearing and everything else. It really is training or practice. And for me, I think I just kind of fell into it, and this was just the time it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. It's funny that Patricia brought like looking for a home, because I started to go through this thing where I was like, I started to wonder, like, am I imagining hearing things? Am I making these things? Am I like, I don't know. I was going through something, but there was a couple of things that happened where, when we were shopping for a home, when you start to look at so many houses, you forget which one had what floor was in where, what was the room you didn't like. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start videotaping as I'm walking through these houses.
Right.
And we looked at an old Victorian house. It was so beautiful. Needed a ton of work, but it was just gorgeous. And as I'm walking through, there was a door I opened to go upstairs, and I opened the door. I start to walk up the stairs, and on the video, you hear, "Close the door." And I didn't hear that with my ear.
Right.
So I would have closed the door,
Right.
Yeah, and just like that, like I wasn't even investigating.
Yeah.
I'm just walking through this house, and had I known that, I'd have been like, I even called my realtor. I was like, "Can you see if those people will let me do an investigation in their house?" Because they live in Florida. They already moved. This house is just sitting empty. I'm like, I'll pay like $200 just if they'll let me just do an investigation there.
Right.
My realtor's like, "You're insane."
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's funny too how sometimes um, you're just not ready to hear it, or it's just not, and I did the same thing with one of my friends. We're at his house, and all of a sudden I described this lady, and he's like, "Hold on a second." So I described him to her, and then he goes and gets a picture, and it turns out it was his grandma. I wasn't expecting to see his grandma. She just happened to walk in because she realized that I was able to see her, wanted to let him know that she was there, and just stepped into it. And I wasn't even thinking anything about it. I wasn't investigating anything. It just happened.
Right.
So sometimes that just happens.
Really
Patricia, outstanding. I'm so glad you're part of the BB3 TV family too. Patricia says, I'm thankful for meeting Dom, letting me be part of BB3 TV. I'm now beginning to embrace my abilities. Yep, Patricia, you're going to be on one of my upcoming shows. We still got to plan a time for that. And it's going to be a platform where you can talk as much or as little as you want about it. It's just a platform like this I'm having with Taryn. You can come in and talk about whatever you want. So we are being asked a question. I think this is to you because this person already knows me. Do you meditate or use crystals to help to develop your skills?
No, I have ADD really, really bad. So meditation is hard for me to concentrate. And, that's like, I would have to like probably master the ADD before I could do anything like that.
Yeah.
I believe that it's like a muscle. So I believe like the more you do it, I think whatever your skills would be, whether it's, I think, like I said, the more you do it, the more it becomes more and more and more and more, just like a muscle. When, if you don't do it that often, I think it kind of goes away a little bit, but the more you're doing it.
Right. I can totally tell you that Taryn is 100% about herself. Even when we're just on chat outside of the shows, she doesn't sit still. She's on her phone and she's walking around the house and she's everywhere. To get her to sit down for an hour and a half on this program, it's because what you don't know is I actually had someone tape her legs down to her chair. So that way she can't get up and run away. Otherwise, you'd see her walking around her house doing dishes or feeding the cats or doing whatever. So this is her constraint right here, is to sit down and actually do these. Yep. And this is Rob B3 says, my meditation is working in the garage. Remember, meditation isn't all about sitting down in front of a burning candle, which I just happen to have behind me, and staring into the light and trying to come to terms with yourself. It's whatever basically opens up your mind. Whatever.
See, and I agree. And that's what I was going to say. Like when I go to Gettysburg,
yep,
just being there, it just feels like it cleanses me from, inside out. And then I go to a little round top, I'll sit on those rocks and I watch the sunset and I close my eyes and literally I'm like, I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm not, it's like euphoric almost, and to me that's meditating, but I'm not meditating because I'm going to ghost hunt. I'm not meditating because I'm going to go because I want to hear spirits or whatever, it's happening without me thinking about it,
And so many people do it and they don't realize they're doing it, or they don't realize that's what it is. They think you have to sit cross-legged with your fingers out saying Om 9,000 times, staring into a light with your eyes closed. It's not. It's whatever puts you at peace, clears your mind, and just gives you that time to yourself. That's really all it is.
Absolutely.
So Tom saying, yep, technically I do my meditations. I walk through wooded areas and take videos. So Tom Nally actually does something that's called This is Tom's World over on YouTube. And he actually works in the wildlife areas, the preserves, and everything else. And so he does a lot of that. His videos are out there. You can go out there and take a look at those. And you'll notice his attitude changes from when he does Dom and Tom's World, sitting behind the screen like we're doing right here and drinking a beer or whatever else, to when he's out in the woods. It's almost like a switch for him to where he almost seems like he's at a better calmness or a better peace, because he actually is out there and he's doing something he loves. Not that he doesn't like sitting behind the screen and talking to people and doing stuff like this, but that's his area where he is most relaxed and most comfortable with.
Yeah, but he also has raised money
Right.
for and has added gardens and stuff like that for some of the places that he loves and
Yep.
goes to. So it's really cool to watch. I like it.
So I would say, if you want to look at something, if you want to watch Tom Nally out there, he's on YouTube. This is Tom's World, so go ahead and go out there, take a look at that too. There's your shameless self plug for you, buddy. So don't say I never did anything for you.
And I do it too. Like when I go to Gettysburg, I'll go live on Paranormal Brew's page, and I bring everybody with me because I'll park. I get out and I just go walking. I go walking through the woods. I go walking anywhere, and I just bring everybody with me, whether I'm doing an investigation.
Yep. Yeah.
Or just the sunset. I bring everybody with me. I don't care.
Oh, here you go. Tom's gonna plug himself now. There you go. www.youtube.com/This Is Tom's World. Like I said, pretty simple. Good site to go out, check it out. He's got a couple of videos, a few videos out there, and you just see that he loves what he does out there. He's actually helping build back the environment and building back and preserving what's out there. So it's really cool on him to do that. So, yeah. So, I don't know. We're coming up on an hour. We don't have a time frame. It's yours and mine. So we can keep going if you want.
Do you see him? A few.
Ajang does ask, Tom, while you are doing a meditation, do you ever have experience that something distracts you meditate, like vision or spirits? I am not very good at meditating. I am terrible at it. Even my quiet time isn't really meditation for me. But I will tell you that, not to creep anyone out, but I really have an area of when I'm going to sleep. Before I go to sleep, my mind really opens up. And it's almost like I see visions or something. I've been described to it that it's a remote viewing, or sometimes it's something else. But for instance, one of them I saw very recently, which was not a remote view as far as I can tell, was I was in my state. I was very relaxed, but I was perfectly awake. And I actually saw, the best way I can describe it is the scene from Ghost when he's going up to heaven. I saw the very bright white lights with the shapes of the people and the white lights. Mm-hmm. I actually saw that at that point when I closed my eyes. So I don't know if I was experiencing what people would call the gates of heaven or whatever else, but I saw it very, very clearly in that state, and I was not asleep yet. I was just very relaxed. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of things when I'm in that.
Well, that's state. Almost like like meditation, I guess. Kind
right.
of.
I said pretty much that's kind of where my meditation happens, is right before I fall asleep. I don't really do it during the day too much unless I am in my environment, which is on the beach, in the woods, something that ties to nature. I am very much tied to nature. And that could be from any of my past lives I've had, the fact I'm Native American, whatever else. But I am very, very, very comfortable anywhere in nature, almost to the point to, I know that if I had the opportunity, I would be a hermit. I would disappear from the face of the earth and just go live off the land and do what I wanted to without any contact with people whatsoever.
No, so I can do that. However, I could walk into probably any nature other than any nature in New Jersey.
Yeah, okay.
And because I
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable walking anywhere in the woods, forest, wherever in Gettysburg for sure. 1,000%. No matter what time it is, alone, with people, whatever. And really anywhere else, it's only Jersey that because mine's Pine Barrens, and there's all kinds of crap hanging around in the Pine Barrens.
Right. Right. So Patricia does say, I have experienced that under anesthesia, bright white light. Mm-hmm. And there's been a big talk about the anesthesia, Patricia. There's some people that say that they experience something while they're under anesthesia, but there's been other people that say once they're put under, they experience absolutely nothing. They experience a void, and when they come out of it, so there's discussion when you're under anesthesia, does that put you into what your beliefs are? Do you believe that when you're under anesthesia, is that basically what looking after death looks like? There's a void to where you're moving on to your next spot?
I would say.
Or are you looking at the light that's drawing you to go to your next life? I mean, the void doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of life. It could just mean the process that you're going on to your next one. And the light can also mean that as well, either one. Or you're just going to heaven. Whatever your beliefs are, it's going to take you to that. But there's a huge discussion, even in the scientific world, about being under anesthesia and being asleep during surgery. Is this actually what you would experience if you passed away?
I don't know. I mean, I know that I have a hard time falling asleep. So not to TMI, but I mean, like I do have medicine to help me that my doctor gives me, to fall asleep.
Right.
And normally I have to take that, or else I will be up until tomorrow afternoon.
Right. Yep.
But there are some nights where I go to bed because I try not to take it. I don't want to be reliable on something. So I try not to. Yeah. So sometimes I'll fall asleep without it. And I have the most vivid, awesome dreams, action-packed. Like last night I had a dream about the hot guy that was in the movie we watched a couple of days ago. And, and that doesn't happen often, but, I was like, so you
found my movie. Got it. Cool. Got it. Yep. Sweet.
But when I'm put under, like whenever if I'm purposely taking something to put me to sleep, it's complete. It's nothing. There's nothing. I wake up and there's nothing. But it's when I let myself go to sleep on my own is when I have all this crazy dreams. I told you I've had like premonition dreams of like natural disasters.
Yep.
One time I'm not going to say that I was, but in my dream, I was asking God for, a sign that heaven exists. And he's like, I can't give you that. Right. I can't give you that. You just have to believe. As I'm falling down the Niagara Falls, falls, and I'm falling. I'm like, I just need to
know. Right. Yeah.
And when I woke up, I was well, obviously, if he's talking to me,
there's got to be something.
Something exists.
Yeah. So Dana does come on and say, been under anesthesia easy a dozen times, but I've had the whole void situation. So again, it must be a peach thing.
It must be a peach thing.
And Mom Patricia says, I was in the recovery room, could hear everything that was going on, but I couldn't move and could not wake me for 3 hours. So that's pretty intense, because I know that when I come out of recovery rooms, I don't stay asleep very long if I stay asleep at all. So 3 hours is pretty intense. And if you can hear everything for those full 3 hours, maybe you're just enjoying your nap. You're like, nope, I'm happy in the state I'm in. I don't have to do anything. I can just lay here and relax for 3 hours. I'll get to you when I wake up. And then Zhang comes on and says, I look forward to your investigations at Gettysburg, Taryn. I love that place. So Zhang's all over it with you. Sweet. But yeah, I mean, my dreams are very hit and miss, because you were talking about the dream thing. I have one that I tell people about, and no one can confirm what it is about, but it has stuck with me ever since I had it. And it is the craziest, most realistic dream I've had. And I'm actually out in space. I'm actually floating in space, and there are stars all over the place.
Already scared.
And directly in front of me is this huge, it looks like a lava, obsidian, whatever, huge square floating there. But on top of it, it's actually a carved out, almost like a fortress. And it's a monster place. And you can see the windows in the fortress lit up by lights. And throughout the rest of the scene, there's a couple of smaller ones, and they all look exactly alike. So there's probably like 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. Well, the large one is just sitting there, and I'm just staring at it, and I can't figure out if it's a protection, if it's keeping me from something, if I'm supposed to go, attack it, what I'm supposed to do. But underneath, on the bottom right-hand side, this huge arc comes out and slices through, and this very strong blue light, almost like the blue light of Archangel Michael, comes out, and it comes towards me, and then I wake up. But it's the dream that I've had that no one has ever been able to interpret this one for me. And I have asked dream interpreters, what does this mean? It's with me so much that I can still see it vividly just talking about it right now.
I could see it while you were talking about it.
And I have a problem drawing stick figures, so I can't draw it out for people to show how realistic and how vivid it was and how I think it actually is a sign for me for something. I just haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting to me that our dreams can do that for us. It's just up to us to interpret what they are. So,
no, I mean, I've had one visit dream, and I say that because the dream, I've never had a dream like it before, and I've never had a dream like it after. I mean, it was so real. I could feel fabric on the shirt. I could feel everything.
right.
And I could hear, and I was talking like it was present time, and my dad didn't talk at all.
Okay.
We just hugged,
Right.
but I was talking like, I can't believe you're here. I like literally ran and like spider jumped on him and hugged him,
Right.
and I was like crying, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. You can meet Jimmy. You get to meet, that was my boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I was crying so hard. Like I was so happy crying, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And I was like, I love you. And he didn't say a word, and he just held me for like a couple minutes. And I woke up, and I remember as I was pulling myself out of, it felt like I had to pull myself out of this dream. And that's why I was like really pissed off at myself, because I woke up because he
Right.
didn't talk. But and this was prior to me being into the paranormal field. So I had no idea, looking back now is a wholly different thing. But as I was pulling myself out of it, I remember seeing a silhouette in my bedroom door. Like my bedroom door, I always kept it cracked for the cat, and the hall light was on. And I remember seeing a silhouette of him, and as I pulled myself, and I woke up, and I was like gasping for air, crying my eyes out. My stomach hurt. Like
Right.
I was already feeling all that in my dream.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the only time I ever had to get up and go to the bathroom and literally splash water on my face. Like, what just happened?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a visitation. So that's, yeah. I mean, and that's, and that leads exactly to what Tom's asking too. All of my dreams that I have with those that have passed are very vivid in detail. Don't know if they're actual visits or just memories. My belief is, if you have those dreams that are very vivid and they're of loved ones, they are actual visits. I just believe that they're not necessarily having to send you a message of any type outside of saying, I'm here and I love you. Or I'm here and I'm looking over you. And sometimes since it's hard for them to contact us in the world of being awake, because maybe they don't have the strength, or you just don't have the ability to hear, it's much easier for them to do that in your dream state or in your sleep state in order for them to contact you. So I think a lot of those, if not all of them, are what I would call visits from loved ones.
I actually probably never would have known that. Like I've had dreams about my dad. You know what I mean? I've had dreams, and I've woken up and I'm like, oh my God, I felt like he was like disappointed in me. What am I doing wrong? I'm trying to figure it out,
Right.
Or, there's been dreams that are just like totally, just weird, like where he's there, I'm there, and things happen. But I never would have been able to tell the difference until I actually had that visit dream.
Right.
Like after I had that visit dream, I'm not saying that the way that in some of the dreams, like I can now tell the difference between, okay, yeah, it's his like he's here, but he's not here.
Right.
He's in my dream with me, but it would be like as if I was awake, like I'm getting signs or I'm getting something, whatever.
Yep.
And then there's dreams where they're just fluke dreams, I call them, where just he's not there. I'm not, it's just a dream, like
Right.
this. Then I had that one. I've only had one. That was it.
And that's why I go with his words that he used when he says they're very vivid.
Yep.
If they're very vivid in detail, I believe those are visitations because you remember them for a reason. or there's so much detail that it's a visitation. Where it's just a dream. I had a dream about because my mom passed away. We all know that recently. So I had a dream about my mom, but it was a dream because my mom was in it. There was nothing specific or vivid in it. So to me, it wasn't a visitation. It was just a dream because she's my mom and I miss her. But
Right.
but when you talk about very vivid and detail and stuff you can remember, and you wake up gasping and crying and stuff like that, I believe those are visitations because we're actually not only subconsciously attaching to your brain, but it's actually visiting you and your soul.
Yeah.
So it's actually making you feel those emotions.
Yeah, and I've found that, because when all this started, like I was expecting that, now that I'm doing this, I'm starting to hear stuff and I saw stuff and I'm learning all this, like, oh cool, me and my dad are gonna be able to have like chit chats.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And never. I
Right.
mean, he's literally gone to other people that I know.
Yep.
And I mean, but not me. And I struggled with that for a really long time. I'm like, why am I not? I don't care what the person that's in the jail cell has to say.
Right.
Like, I want to know. I want to talk to him. Why? And I had to work through that. And the only time that my heart really felt at peace was that I wouldn't be able to handle if I ever really if I saw him or had I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Right.
I had PTSD from his passing, prolonged grief, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So I believe that he knows that if that were to occur,
Yep.
that would push me back, way back.
Yeah.
So I think for him that was because my mind's saying I'm asleep, I can handle that better.
Right.
Than if he actually showed up in front of me.
Right. And I'm the exact opposite because my dad passed away when I was young. He passed away when I was 3. But I will tell you, my dad is the biggest spiritual presence that I have when I'm awake. He is always letting me know that.
I know. Believe me.
But I get signs from my dad. I've been told that, and I have figured it out for myself after I've been told initially that he is my guardian. He is the one who looks after me.
I believe that.
He's the one who allowed me. He has always known that I had my abilities but he suppressed them from me long enough to where I'm now able to understand them and use them for good rather than evil. And if I was younger, that would have been a struggle I would have had. Do I do this because I want to make a lot of money, or do I want to do this because I want to help people? But now that I'm older and I'm wiser and I'm smarter and I'm learning about it, I know I only want to do it to help others.
Yeah. So, I fully believe my dad is one of my guardian angels for sure. We're just way too close. And I know I get signs all the time. You know what I mean? And I talk to him constantly. Not constantly, but I'll be like, really? I'm like that.
Right.
Stupid stuff here and there. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
But I do know I'll smell his cologne, or I hear a song, whatever. Or sometimes I just feel him. You know what I mean? But
right. Yep.
But never like how I did in my dream was I could feel the fabric of his shirt. Like it was just crazy.
Right. It was that vivid, that strong, that real.
It was crazy.
Yep.
But I honestly you know me, I'll talk all night long.
Right. Yep. But I do think this is a good place to stop.
But I can't. I ordered groceries from ShopRite, and I'm supposed to pick them up between 8:30 and 9:30.
So I do want to throw this up there really quick. This is Taryn. She does have a YouTube channel, so I posted up here for everyone who wants to go out there. And down here, down on the bottom part of it, she also has a Facebook. So Facebook.com/Paranormal Brew, and then YouTube.com channel, and a whole lot of words.
Yeah.
Or a whole lot of letters. If you actually go into Facebook and you look up Taryn Kerper, or you look up Paranormal Brew, the YouTube channel is also listed on there. So you don't have to just try to write down all this scratch that I have on the screen right here. And she's on both of those. She's also on Paranormal King Radio Network. She's one of the Paranormal Peaches, which is just a kick-ass group. But yeah, so you can find her anywhere. And I'll let you know that I'm going to be back on her show. So feel free to jump in and watch that as well. I'm going to be on there February 16th. We'll be posting notices as they come up. So look for those.
Yeah. And I'm on BB3 TV.
And I was just going to say, we're all found here on BB3 TV on Facebook. So it's www.facebook.com/BB3TV. So
yeah, and Unrestricted Paranormal 2 puts my videos up. I don't go live on there, but they'll put them up after. And then parapost.net, it's actually an app. It's not like but you download an app or whatever. I do think they do have a Facebook page as well.
Okay.
But my live videos are uploaded there as well.
Right. Okay.
So
outstanding. Okay. I'm
Thank
going to let you go so you can go get your groceries, and I'm going to talk to them a little bit about my next up and coming show. But thank you very much. Much love. It was another great show.
Oh yeah. So can I just plug my show really this Wednesday?
You do.
This Wednesday, I have April Doucette. She's the psychic housewife of New Jersey coming on. She's been on Holzer Files and all this and that. She's an awesome medium, amazing medium. And she's going to be coming on, and we're like love sisters. We love each other so much. It's ridiculous. So we're just going to be having a good time. And, you never know. Maybe she might, if you watch, she may be able to read somebody. I don't know. She sometimes her mind, she just does that, but she's awesome. So you guys should join us. It'll be fun.
Yep. All right. Outstanding. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, always. Of course. You're
and I'll see you soon.
Like one of my favoriteest people in the world.
You're one of my favoriteest people, so that can't be happening.
So sweet. All right. Well, you have a good night. Go get your groceries, and I will talk to you soon.
Good night.
Bye-bye. All right. So for everyone else, just so you know, I am also part of a Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. We actually have sites out there, https://facebook.com/Dimensional Encounters. Go out there, take a look at our videos. We have a lot of our videos from our paranormal investigations that are out there. Feel free to hit them up, take a look at them. My show, Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook, every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Next Monday on the 10th, I have another guest coming on. Her name is Joni White Buffalo. She is a psychic medium. She is fantastic. She actually says that she will invite your questions for mini reads. So if you have a question, she'll allow the question to come up and do her best to answer it for you live on the air. She'll probably only do one question a night, or one question a person, just because it is a show that she wants to get in as many as she can. But she'll talk about her experiences. She's indigenous up in Canada. She's fantastic. You're gonna love this lady. Joni White Buffalo. She has her own talk show as well, and I'll advertise that when it comes up. So it's gonna be wonderful. Come out, take a look at it. You know me, I'm going to go ahead and post everything ahead of time. If for some reason you or other people that you're sharing this with cannot get out to see the live, send me questions if you have questions ahead of time. Just send me messages through the site, and I will be more than happy to read them online, especially with Joni coming up. If you have a question about a loved one or something else that you want a reading from, but you're going to come back and watch the recorded version later, ask your question, and I'll see if I can get it onto her. All right. Share this out. Come back and watch again. I really appreciate your time and efforts. That you're making this show better than I could have planned, better than I could have hoped for. And it is without you, the show would not even exist. So much love to all. Have a great night, and I will see you again next Monday. Bye-bye.